You know, maybe I've gone a little too far. I'm just going to wiggle it back until I'm like, I think I can be here. So we're going to start with our big toes touching, our knees set wide apart, and then just resting, almost like pull the belly flesh from the base of the abdominal bowl and then lengthening it up as we start to tip forward. And then we'll place our hands nice and comfortably wide, just maybe grazing the outer boundaries of the mat, and then rest the forehead down. Just taking a few moments to arrive here. Just checking in with where the breath is. We'll start to activate through the fingertips. And as we start to press into the palm, see if you can almost grip the knuckles of the fingers inwards so that you elevate your inner palm. Starting to lengthen the elbows, maybe the elbows lift away from the mat. We'll start to circle the shoulder heads, rolling the shoulder blades down the back towards the waist. Now, inhale, we'll gaze up and start to shift forward onto all fours and just take your knees in towards each other so that the knees are stacked over our hips. Slide the hands back slightly. We're going to start to tilt the pelvis, coming into a few rounds of cat-cow, but don't get stuck on any particular rigid way of doing it. You can just start to create little circles. Imagine, if it's helpful to use these visualizations, if there's a pencil hanging from the belly button and you're drawing a circle, and then maybe you're drawing figure eights, waggling those hips. Whichever way we go, let's just take a moment to retrace our steps in the opposite orientation, opposite direction. And then finding our way back to center, maybe take a moment to curl the toes under, just really opening up the foot and just patting those toes into the mat and warming them up. Notice if you can feel connected to your pinky toe just as much as your big toe. And now from here, we're going to just take a moment to fold the sitting bones underneath, pointing them down towards the knees, lifting the belly up and rolling through the spine, and then releasing there first and rolling through the spine. Perfect. So we'll do that a couple more times. Tucking the tail under and then undulating through the spine and then releasing the tail back and coming into that reverse action of the spine. One more time. And syncing that with our breathing. So here we're coming into an anterior tilt of the pelvis and then a posterior tilt of the pelvis. Somewhere along the line, we hit our neutral. Okay, so we're going to find that neutral now. Just walk ourselves back ever so slightly, stacking the knees with the hips and then walking the hands forward, coming into a puppy pose. So instead of down dog, this is our puppy. So stay really activated through the arms here. And now we're going to come back into that tilt. So drop your ears in line with your arms. You could rest your forehead on the floor and really just allow your heart to sink towards the mat, staying activated through the hands. Think of lengthening your armpits. And now let's fold the tail under and then release it back. So finding that cat-cow action in the pelvis, but maintaining the mid and upper back in puppy pose. So just finding this core action. This is going to repeat in a few other positions we're going to do. Getting used to that. Inhale, gazing up. Let's walk the hands back underneath the hips. And let's just come into a down dog now. So we're going to hover the knees. Exhale. Inhale. Deep breath in. And then exhale, drag the sitting bones up the wall behind us. Or the imaginary wall behind us, and start to pedal the feet. Relax any tension in the neck or the head, the jaw. Let's take a 45-degree angle with the right foot. Press into the outer boundaries of that right foot, lifting the inner arch, grounding through the right big toe, bending the left knee. Gaze under your right armpit. Just waking up all of those, the outer line of the right leg, swaying from side to side. Pressing into your inner hands, stay connected with your hands, connected with your feet. And then switching sides. Cutting an angle at the 45-degree angle at the left foot. Just activating through that leg, bending the right knee, gazing under your left armpit. And then just swaying the hips from side to side. Hello, good morning. Good morning, legs. Good morning, side body. Getting long through that left side. Think of dragging the left hip crease away from your left armpit. That feels nourishing. Sending the breath there. And then exhaling, coming back. So now walk the hands forward to our plank position. Invite the buttocks to draw down towards the back heels. Stay agile and light in the feet, like you could release out of your starting blocks at any moment. Exhale, you can lower the knees. We'll come all the way down to the mat, just hovering. Press into the floor. Redirect the buttocks down towards your heels, and then release down. Just releasing the feet. Let's take a moment and pause here. So reset the fingertips underneath your shoulder heads. Just releasing the legs. Hovering the knees. Tops of the feet pressed down. Inhale. Start to drag your pubic bone up towards your navel. And then peel the chest off the mat. We're going to slide the hands forward, coming into Sphinx pose. So Sphinx, we're basically creating a box, paralleling the forearms, hugging the elbows in slightly, inviting the shoulder blades down, and sinking into the back of the heart. Heart's moving forward towards the top of the mat. Lengthen the back of your neck. Draw the chin in towards the heart. Hugging that in. See if you can lift your belly off the floor. And then release it back. So finding our cat-cow here, dragging it forward. And then releasing it up. And then find your neutral. Opening across the chest. Exhale, slide your hands back underneath the shoulders, pushing up through all fours. Finding our way back to down dog. Yeah. And inhaling, shifting forward into plank. Exhale, lower your knees. We'll come back onto all fours. On the next breath, we'll take that left leg up. Reaching it back behind us. Inhaling. Exhale, float that right arm up. Inhale to lengthen on opposition. Exhale to bend the top knee. Now, if you'd like, just open that right shoulder head up and see if you can reach for the outer left ankle. Just gently start to press the left ankle into the right fingertips and the right fingertips back into the left ankle. Trying to parallel the hips in space. And then swimming that arm up and over, lengthening out. Let's take that right knee into the left what is this? My right knee, my right elbow into my left. Extend it out. And again. And out. Inhale. Exhale. Touch. And then floating back down to the floor. Let's set up for our puppy pose again. We'll reach the hands forward, keeping them activated. Palms pressing down, elbows lifted, resting the forehead down. If you want a little more this time, you can tip your chin, rest on your chin, and bring your knees to the top of your back. And choose which one your body is asking for. Press into the palms as they interact with the floor, and then hug them in towards each other and roll the skin of the triceps out. Finding your cat-cow, inhale to coil the tail under, exhale to release. Inhale to coil it under, exhale to release. Inhale, raising the head up, walking the hands back. Take another inhale to extend that right leg out. Just rotating it into a neutral position, floating the left arm. So we're balancing on the right palm and the left knee, shin, and top of foot, feeling all those points of contact. You're going to inhale to find your length, finding your strength through length. Exhale to bend the right knee, keeping it parallel, open that left shoulder up. See if the fingertips can reach for the outer edges of that right ankle, and then use that traction, use that reference point to just hug the right knee in a little bit towards the midline. Long through the spine here. So we don't want to compress the back line, but see if we can find this beautiful arch. Deep breath in, stabilizing ourselves, welcoming any little shakes, and then swimming that arm up and over. Come back. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, touch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, touch. Now lift the knee a little bit further away from the mat. Coil, coil, coil. And then exhale, we'll reach back down. Bring your knees together. We'll sit on the heels and just rest the arms. Just wiggling the fingers. Good, we'll take our fingertips underneath the shoulders. Inhale to lift. We're going to, I'll just pivot myself this way so you can see. We're going to take our right knee forward and the left knee scoot it behind. And then we're going to slowly start to sit back onto the hips. Now, if you need to elevate yourself, always good to have some blocks handy or whatever. We're just going to get into the outer hips here a little bit. So once you find that right intensity level, you can just wiggle your feet towards the front edge of the mat, just to the point where it's taller. You know, maybe I've gone a little too far. I'm just going to wiggle it back until I'm like, I think I can be here. Good. Now inhale, let's take that left arm up high in the sky. Exhale, we're going to start to pivot the navel over so that it's centered on the midline of our right thighs. And then exhale, let's reach that up and over. Maybe just fingertip the floor with the left hand. So place the left hand in line with the middle of that right thigh. Start to press the legs into the ground a little bit. And now as we exhale, let's start to deflate that activation of the legs, maybe about halfway. So instead of this full activation of our muscles in this range of motion, we'll just go kind of about 50%, just like deflate the effort. So we're using a bit of the weight of our own pelvis to find some stretch, some surrender here. And at any time, if you feel like you've gone too far, if it feels that the mind is really talking to you, then that's a good opportunity to just come out of it a little bit, come out of the intensity. So listening there. Likewise, if this feels so good and so easy, then maybe it's the invitation to walk the fingertips a little bit further out. Just listening to what is needed to find your edge. Inhale, lift the chin. Bring the gaze up, just coming back to neutral for a moment. Come into a little counter twist. Just explore that. Bring your gaze past your left shoulder, rinsing out, pulling the navel towards the spine. Use your exhalation to ring it up. And then we'll unwind. We'll slowly start to either roll forward to get out of this, and we're going to switch sides. So a few different ways out of that. That's it. Good. You can always just scoop the top one, come back out. So this time we'll take that left knee forward, right knee in behind, like we're cross-legged. And then you're going to start to meander your way back. And of course, we make the floor rise up to us, whatever level that might be. So if you have pillows, blanket, blocks, anything to raise the height of the floor, that's what you're going to want to do. Okay. So raising the sitting bones if they feel off balance, and just try to level the pelvis as best you can. Let's breathe that right arm up. Exhale, we're going to pivot the the navel towards the left midline of the thigh. Love this left navel. And then take the arm up and over. Now, first, to feel the counterpoint, we're going to really ground through the legs. So hugging the legs together. So it's like two legs become one. And then just sinking them into the floor very intentionally. And then walk those fingertips to their edge. Inhale to find length. And now exhale, we'll start to relax the weight of the upper body up and over the legs. And now start to deflate the effort of the legs, about 50%. Just receiving some stretch here, some passive stretch. To soften something. Maybe in the jaw, the shoulders. Start to audit what parts of the body don't need to be working as hard. Really, the only effort we have is just the right amount to hold the position. We're just gently trying to anchor the right side of the hip down towards the floor. Inhale to lift the chin. Slowly track out. We're going to come into a counter twist. Or did we do this side? I can't remember. We're going to look over here. And then experience this open twist. Gazing past the right shoulder. Just burrowing the navel. Maybe you coil your low back a little bit if that's a helpful cue to feel it. And it's like we're rinsing out a wet washcloth, wringing it out. about to give some fresh blood flow to all of our major organs, or digestive system. And then exhale to slowly release out of that. Now we can either push forward, potentially hands free, or just scoop one leg to one side. We'll come back to all fours. Just waggling the hips, just release out of that. Let's take an inhale and break that right leg up. And then exhale, we're going to take it to the outer right wrist into a pigeon. Just inchworm that left leg. Now, the beginning of class, we were doing some puppy poses. We're going to bring our hands back into that puppy pose position, keeping them nice and wide. You can almost line up your index finger, pointing them forward if that's a helpful cue, just to allow the wrists a bit of an outward dialing out, if you will. Stay activated through the arms. We'll draw the shoulders down the back. Start to get heavy in your shoulder blades, lifting your heart upward and forward. So start to press into the legs to start. Really pressing into the legs here. And then start to deflate the effort to about halfway. So just starting to receive this stretch a little bit more. And now let's find that same rotation of the pelvis. So we're going to drag the sitting bones up as we press into the hands. And then exhale, you can coil them under to find its opposite. So start to try to find that rotation of the pelvis in this position. Inhale to come into an anterior tilt. So I'm dragging my pubic bone down towards my back foot. Then exhale, I'm dragging my pubic bone up towards my jaw. Just syncing that with your breathing. Stay with this gentle action through the arms. Notice where you feel any sort of stretch on the anterior and posterior tilts of this. So as you lengthen back, where are you feeling the stretch of the exhale, coiling the belly up towards the spine and pubic bone raising to the jaw. You might feel a release across the left psoas line. Gently press into the left foot a little bit as you come into your tuck on the next round and see if you can soften from that point. So feel the activation and then play with this gentle releasing of that effort in both positions. You're going to slowly walk the hands forward, curl those left toes. See if you can walk it back just a little bit more. I'm going to come into a second round of bending the knee. Take the right arm forward. Deep breath in. Exhale, let's rotate. See if you can find that outer heel. Now we're going to press the left heel into the right fingertips. Trying to keep that parallel. Such a subtle activation. It can feel almost like you have amnesia connecting with this muscle, outer line of the hip. And now find whatever grip you like. Doesn't matter which one. It can be outer, inner. Start to kick the foot into the hand into the foot, lengthen through the spine. And then exhale. If you want to gaze to the back corner, you can. And don't feel like you need to stay stuck or static. You'll stay activated here. Let's deflate the effort between the arm and the leg to about 50%. Just allow the arm to win a little bit more. Taking that left heel towards the left. Exhale, turn on that activation again. Press the foot again onto the foot. Press all the points of contact in the floor. Push into the floor. Maybe lift your pelvis off the mat and just hover it over. Full expression. And then exhale, soften everything. We're going to come forward with hands out in front, palms together, and just rest your forehead down. Sometimes be very challenging to allow yourself to do nothing here. Trying to surrender the effort in the legs. Slowly start to walk ourselves up. Start to shift onto your right hip. And now we're going to bend that left knee and extend through the right leg. Coming to Janu Shirshasana. Now inhale, just balancing your pelvis, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, you're going to take that right forearm onto the floor and then just slide it onto the interior side of the right leg. Maybe you want to hook your index and middle finger underneath the Achilles tendon. And notice if that foot wants to be an overachiever. This is something that I really struggle with. I always like to over flex my toes, and it's just like, okay, it's okay, relax, relax. So I try to imagine that this foot is standing on the floor. Inhale to breathe that left arm up. And just with breath, inhaling and exhaling, see if you can connect with the skin across the left rib cage. As you inflate and deflate your beautiful balloons, the lungs. Try to connect with that sensation. Before you go into any full expression of the pose. Now, you can come up and over. Maybe one day you touch the toes or grab for the foot in the bind, but just working here with this intention, using the lever of that bent leg to ground into the floor for just this point of traction, to get more space to breathe across the side body. And of course, exploring with this forward back rotation. If you want to come into another variation of this, you can even try to plant the left foot down on the floor. Take that right hand for the outer left ankle and just push into the foot. Draw that left knee back. And again, maybe you touch, maybe you don't. Just play. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. Exhale to rotate the heart towards the sky. Of course, the left hip can lift. Just inviting it maybe to ground down ever so slightly, just so that you can get that stretch through the left side body. See what happens when you draw that left knee back. And we'll slowly roll out of this, whatever variation of it we're in. Extending through both legs and walk those legs in. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to come into a bit of a Upavishtakonasana exploration. Just hovering the hands if you can. So once we come into this activation, then we'll start to deflate the effort. Place your hands in front, relax your head. See if you can reach the hands out, find our puppy pose arms. Inhale to lengthen through the spine, activate through the palms. So we're lifting the sitting bones up towards the sky, arching our low back. Exhale, just roll them under. So the pelvis is moving towards the jaw here. And then release back, just rotating and rolling through our pelvis. Just exploring that with your breathing. Exhale to press through the palms, walk yourself back up. Take the legs together, finding our way back to all fours. Swagging that out. Sway your hips from one side, sway your hips to the other. One more round. And finding your way to all fours. Inhale, breathing the left leg up. Exhale, taking that left knee to the outer left wrist. Walking the right leg back, finding our feet. Ekapada Rajakapotasana. That is a mouthful. It's like supercalifragilistic. I'm getting nice and tall. Lengthen the belly flesh. I'm coming over. We're going to activate through our hands, those puppy pose hands. Again, just dialing the hands out nice and wide. Activate through the legs here for a minute. Waking them up. And then let's just deflate that effort. So we're about 50% capacity of interacting with the floor. So we're softening here. We're receiving a stretch more passively. Inhale, ground through the hands, lift the sitting bones up. This is so subtle. Exhale, folding it under. So we're coming into our pelvic tilts here, breathing and sinking it to our breath. Exhale. There's no right or wrong way to sync this to your breathing. They're just different. They bring us different things. So just investigating which one you're in and how it helps you to feel sensations in your body. As you activate gently through the legs at this half tension, half pressure into the floor. When you coil your tail under, notice if you feel a gentle release across the top of the right hip. It's okay if you don't. You'll feel it somewhere else. Notice where. And we'll slowly walk the hands forward. Just passively resting your forehead down. Just allowing yourself to receive gravity's help. Use your exhalation as an invitation to surrender something. Inhale, lift the head. Just walking the hands back. Inhale to grow tall. Exhale, bend right knee. Put the left arm up. Give yourself space across the collarbones. I'm going to just walk my right hand out. I like that width today. Exhale, opening up. See if you can just make contact with the outer foot for a second. Start to press the foot into the hand into the foot. Gentle lifting away from the floor. Get heavy in all the places that are touching the floor, and then just think of this rooting, creating a nest, and then lifting out with breath, gently pressing away with the stability of your roots. Exhale, grabbing for your bind, whatever that's going to be, inner, outer, just find something that you like. Start to press the foot into the hand, hand into the foot. Maybe a soft smile. Notice the shift when we curl the edges of our mat upward. Now let's deflate. We're going to let the hand take over a little bit and direct that heel towards the right buttock, or whatever side you're working on. It's not often we get to be in this position in our day, so it can really talk to us. It can be an intense experience. And those are usually the poses we need the most. But make sure that you're working in a place that's sustainable, that's not too aggressive, just little by little. And full expression. Start to press into the floor and lift yourself away from the mat. So as if we're going to stand up. Hovering your pelvis. Last breath. Exhale, soften everything, release your bind. You're going to slowly roll onto that left hip. And circle around. So taking the opposite leg in, extending through the left. Just finding which position, heel position feels good. I'm going to set myself up so that my right heel is just nestled into my left groin. If you want to take it to the middle or to the other groin, those are other areas, spaces you can explore. Inhaling to get nice and long through our torso. And then exhale, let's take that left forearm down, see how that feels. And then we're going to slide it to the outer edges. Check in with your foot. See, there I am again. So imagine, I always like to imagine that we're standing in the center of the room. So the foot is just completely supported by the floor underneath it. So try to relax your toes if you're a bit of a, I don't know what you call that. I call it, I had a teacher that called it overachieving foot feet. So I think I relate to that idea. So the invitation to soften something that doesn't need to be working is always there. Inhale to breathe that arm up. Rotate the palm towards the back wall. And just play. Play with the skin. As you inhale and inflate your balloon, you feel the skin sliding across your rib cage. And then rotating downward and upward, just noticing that. Finding whatever your full expression might be. Maybe one day you touch, maybe today's the day. Either hook for your big toe or come into the alternative version of this. If you want to just explore something new, so you can raise that right hip up. And just coming into whatever bind or deep side stretch. And start to think of this right knee growing away from your right hip, maybe drawing back as you ground through your right big toe mound, the right inner heel. All these actions and counter actions, counter actions, it goes on and on, just making little adjustments. Gently grounding through the back of that left knee, reaching the left heel away. And then exhale. We'll slowly roll out, extending the legs. Inhale to lengthen, just lifting out of our hips. And then exhale, we'll walk, just tilting the pelvis, rotating it in both directions. Inhale to coil the navel towards the spine. Then exhale, release your sitting bones back, like you're trying to find your lumbar curve. Let's try one more time. Inhale to roll through the spine. And exhale. Let's try 2 more with activated arms. Inhaling, coil the tail. Let's like hug the knee, heels back. Exhale, lengthen the heels away as you release. Finding your lumbar curve. Okay. Let's take those legs in. See if we can do it without our hands. Pressing the soles of the feet together, just taking a moment in Baddha Konasana. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. Exhale to press the outer edges of the feet together and just invite the knees to grow away from the hips. Oh, notice if one side feels more open than the other. And change. Our bodies are always changing. And then exhale, we're going to roll through the spine. Take the forearms into the belly of the calf and maybe give them a little massage. Rolling gently to the right and the left. And now we're going to deflate the effort. Into about 50%. And then we're going to release the effort completely. Release the bind of the feet. You can place your palms just in front, directed upward. Start to pull the navel back, stacking the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. You can help direct your knees towards the midline. Give yourself a little hug. So you hug the tops of the shins. You can just compress your inner groins. It can feel nice. Shifting from side to side until you find your balance point in the middle. Use your exhalation to slowly roll onto your back. Just coming into your final rest, extending the legs out nice and wide. Palms by your side. Just noticing the breath. Slowly start to move the neck from side to side. Lick your lips, rubbing them together. Start to open the mouth nice and wide. Wiggling the jaw. And taking the tongue across the teeth. Swallow. And then on an inhale, you can stretch your arms up overhead. You press your heels into the floor and give yourself a little stretch, making your left leg a little bit longer than your right. And then your right leg a little longer than your left. Use your exhalation as you turn yourself onto your side, taking your underside arm to support your head. Just allowing the floor to hold you. Take this next exhalation to soften something. And on your next breath wave, start to press into your top hand to come up. Taking a moment in a comfortable seat. Just noticing any shifts. Place your hands at heart center or just palms facing up. Blink, blink, blink. Bring your eye gaze up and down, side to side. Circle, circle to the right. Circle, circle to the left. Blink, blink, blink. Namaste.